Cedar sign on. Shifty work into the box. And across. It's in. Oh, it's Lahoo! It's a dream return.
Welcome to Casual FC, an Angel City preview pod. I'm your host, Angela Morales, with the one, the only, Mario Salazar.
Yes, the only.
I made it through without laughing because I'm just gonna. We had to re-record the intro, guys.
There might be a blooper somewhere.
That
it might
opens
exist
this
somewhere.
episode. Oh my god, my brain doesn't work right now.
Yeah.
So good luck, Saul.
It was a traumatic weekend, and then it's already been a long week, and it's only Tuesday.
I got a text from Mario at 3. Maybe, I don't know, could have been noon. I don't know, sometime yesterday, going, hey, can we push recording to Tuesday? And I said, abso-bleeping-lutely. I was running on like an hour of sleep. I had nightmares all night. It was so bad. I'm so glad we didn't record yesterday. I just would have cried as like a way to process Sunday and the game.
There's going to be some processing. Yeah.
Yeah. I get to have a little bit of a therapy session later. Anyway, we're going to talk today about our upcoming match on Saturday the 18th against the Washington Spirit. We're playing at Audi Field in Washington, D.C. They'll be kicking off at 4:30 Pacific time, because that's what we do here.
Yes.
The game is going to be streaming on ionTV as part of the doubleheader Saturday package situation, which is super cool. Now that the WNBA season has kicked off, you can watch Friday night basketball on Ion and Saturday soccer on Ion. I don't know who is in charge of programming at Ion, but whoever made the decision to just buy into women's sports is probably my favorite person right now.
I feel like they had a little picture. They had a picture of you like in their cubicle, and they're like,
"This is our target audience."
Yes, we're gonna make her happy. So how can we do this? All right, basketball and soccer back to back.
Yeah, back to back. It's just the best. But on top of Ion, we have our homies Isaac and Tracy on iHeart. They'll be popping off with all of the energy, I'm so sure. Hopefully they've recovered after that thing that happened on Sunday. Anyway, Angel City is hosting a watch party at High Tops in Los Feliz. Los Feliz is the proper pronunciation, but for some unknown... for some reason, it's called Los Feliz. And I have to say it like that at work, and it bothers me because otherwise people don't know what I'm talking about when we're talking to clients. But whatever. High Tops in Los Feliz, starting at 3:30, the party will kick off. They're also doing speed friending.
Yeah, so I had to copy paste this whole thing because they do have a full explanation on the website. So if you go to the Angel City website and you go to the schedule, on the match information for this day, there's like a buy a ticket when it's a home game, but if they have a watch party, that's like the easiest way to get to watch party information. And so they actually do have a full thing about what it is, and it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so I have a feeling this is brought to you by one of the not brought to you by, but the idea of how to do this is connected somehow to one of the women in sports and events organizations I'm part of. Because most of the time you go to like speed dating or speed networking, and it's basically just, okay, here you go, look at each other and try and build that conversation or whatever. The cool thing about what they're doing is that you get there, it's all optional. Don't feel like you have to do it, but probably you should. It'll be fun. Everybody I've met through Angel City is so cool. So
it helps when you have that commonality. Like, it's a little bit scarier in that
romantical situation.
Or romantic, yeah, exactly. It's a little, because you're going in completely blind. But here, you know everybody's going to be an Angel City fan. You know everybody's going to be there to watch the match. So you have that as a base, and then you can go from there.
Yeah, you basically go in, hang out with the street team, get your name tag. They give you like a little prompt. So then you just go find somebody and talk to them for a while. And if you need like a conversation starter, they give you one. And I think just having the ability to lean on something a little bit, like a conversation starter, a question, a topic, something, is so important because it allows you to like not talk about the weather for 20 minutes because you're like, oh wow, I don't know. There's no thoughts in my brain all of a sudden. What do I do? I'm scared. But I hope whoever goes has a great time. They're planning to wrap up the speed friending 10, 15-ish minutes before kickoff. So get there early if you can. Have fun. Yeah, let us know how it
Meet some new
goes if you
people.
go.
Meet some
Yeah,
new
make
people. Tell them about the
friends.
pod. This will be like mega good vibes, good luck times if you tell everybody
Yeah,
about the pod while you're there.
absolutely. But if you end up going, again, it's at High Tops in Los Feliz. Everything starts around 3:30. If you end up going, let us know. Let us know how it went. Every watch party I've been to has been a lot of fun and a million people are there. So, yeah, good luck. Who knows? Who knows? You might make new friends. You might get a new job. You might fall in love. Who knows? Anything can
Yeah,
happen.
anything can happen.
All right. Who, with that level of chaos to open the show, who won the Chaos Award this week? Mario?
Ooh, Chaos Award. So there was a definite winner and a very close runner up. So our very close runner up has been the kind of just, it's to this point, it's like the bad joke, but the shit refereeing, just the refereeing in
Yeah.
general. Come on. Like there, in our own match, there was so many mistakes, missed calls. There was so much
Mhm.
confusion for the players and the ref. Like I saw so many blank stares on that guy's face.
There was
It was
one time where
infuriating.
the
Okay.
ball went out on the sideline, very clearly touched by Houston, and somehow they got the ball.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that we're thinking about the exact same incident where like for a split second, even the sideline ref was like, no. I want to say I saw her shake her head like,
It's wrong.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that was the very close runner up. But the Chaos Award winner for Match Day 8, yellow cards. Yellow
Absolutely.
cards were rampant. Okay. I went through and counted all the yellow cards. There were 36 yellow cards. There was midweek matches this past week. So there was a couple matches on like Wednesday and then we had our weekend matches. There was 36. Was it the Wave? Yeah, I believe the Wave match had 6 or something like. There was,
The
yeah, it
fact
was.
that the league put Miss Danielle Chesky, I'll call her out by name because she is now the Angel Hernandez of the NWSL. If you watch baseball, this man has been terrible for the last 20 years. Anyway, they put her on the Orlando Pride versus Bay FC game. Eva and I watched the first 75 minutes and we were like, I can't. We were getting so stressed. We were convinced somebody was going to lose a leg, a limb, something. I just don't understand when officiating and the officials of sports decided they wanted to become the main characters instead of make sure everybody gets through the game without a fight, an injury, fairness. I don't know. I I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that one itself had 5. Yes, 36 yellow cards over the last match week, and that is insane. So there is our
Hmm.
Chaos Award winner for the week.
Yeah,
And honestly, there
bonkers.
should have been some more, at least in our match. I think we easily could have rounded that up to 40. So yes, let's just check in the scores. Like I said, there were some midweek matches. So around the league, we had Dash losing to Gotham. We had Seattle and the Current tying, And then we have Wave beating Utah. And then going into the weekend, Spirit beat out Racing 2-1. The Pride beat out Bay 1-0. Portland with a pretty impressive win over Seattle 4-0. Chicago 3 and Utah 1. The Current was at 1 over the Courage, which I always KCC and NCC always gets me like tongue-tied. But the Current won 1-0. And then the Wave ended up tying Gotham, which brings us to our own match, which we played the Dash. We all know the results. 0-1.
I feel like I heard broken hearts shatter. The way the stadium just was like, oh. Like insult to injury in a breakup, but honestly, I've never seen a more deserved goal.
So the Dash came to BMO on short rest. They played on Wednesday.
Yep.
And then flew over to LA and played us on Sunday, while we had a nice, luxurious week off. And yeah, so we all know what happened. Paige freaking Nielsen doing the thing. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at that goal. That goal was
poetic justice, as her sister said.
It was awesome. Right place at the right time. It was that type of shot where you can't even blame DiDi. That was going past her no matter what. And yes, a little bit of karma, bummed. But it leaves a sour taste, a bitter taste, but it's one of our own making. Not it's one of the front office making.
Oh yeah, I remember when she did that for us. Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah. And then for Angel City, we had absolutely no one.
Okay, really quick, I just want to say a few good things that I did see in this very confusing matchup. But Alyssa is getting there. She's so close. And I know we keep saying that, but there's been so much improvement game to game from her. She almost should have it was a missed call, probably should have had another penalty earned. Or I think it was Alyssa. Somebody in the box got run over, but I'm pretty sure it was Alyssa. I don't remember. It feels like 100 years ago at this point in my brain. But she's getting so much more confident every time she gets the ball, and it's apparent. The unfortunate part is that didn't really happen a lot.
Yes.
At all.
So to be honest, when we were writing or putting notes in our script, I wrote a bunch of stuff, just brain dumped in there because I was upset, frustrated. And so I'm just going to go down it and you give me your viewpoint on this, because I'm probably, I don't know which way I am on this, but okay. It felt like the entire game was lacking. Something was lacking. This was not a good performance at all.
Felt like nobody was on the same page.
Nobody at all. And I don't know if it was
if there was a game plan, everybody had a different version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those things where it's like they've taken a phrase or a story and put it through Google Translate to like another language and then did it to another language and then put it back to English?
Yes.
Everybody exactly did that and then got a slightly different version of what they were supposed to be doing. There was no pressing. There was no pressing at all. There was so many times I was yelling from my seat to move forward. I'm about, both where Angela and I sit, we're about in the final third, at the kind of beginning of the final third. So I'm right there and I'm like, just go, press. And there was a few times, I'm going to say maybe 3 times, where I felt they got the ball and they moved it forward and they just built it up from the back and they just moved it and they were burning the dash, leaving them in the dust. And we were up on the other side and there was a couple shots taken. A couple of those resulted in, why aren't you freaking shooting the ball? But it was impressive. But that only happened 2 or 3 times in the entire game. I don't know why. And there was a lot of times where I'm yelling at them to move up, and then they pass backwards. Like, we love you, DiDi. You're a wall back there, but we know that you can't distribute the ball. So why are we passing it back to you? It's like all you're going to do is pass it back to another defender. You're not going to clear the...
There were big flashbacks to the first season and playing at the back, but nothing ever getting past the midfield. And I think that's where a lot of people are getting really frustrated. And I wish I had a better idea of the overall thought process, because I know it's there. I know the strategy's there. We see it. But I feel like this game took everything that we had assumed was happening and shook it like an Etch-a-Sketch. I'm just kidding. And then you had to try and draw it from memory, but you didn't know how to work the Etch-a-Sketch. It felt so disjointed. And it, like I said, I'm just bummed because we had a really good showing at Utah. We'd been playing good soccer. We've been getting better, getting more cohesive, figuring out the kinks and figuring out all these things. And I don't know what happened. Because sometimes, like, in games in general, like, sometimes there's just a moment where everybody falls apart. This was just...
Yeah, and we've seen that. We've seen that where there's been matches where we were dominating like 90% of the game, and then that last
the Kansas City match.
That's because we dominated so much, we fell apart. We got burnt out. We were running on empty, and it just happened that way. Another point was, why was Emsley all over the freaking place? And I didn't write freaking, but I don't understand. Right off the bat, we already know that I am not the X's and O's person. Tactics, I don't see it. I'm not doing the Zach Galifianakis mathing gif. I'm not figuring that stuff out. But I see her playing on the left. I see her playing on the right. All of a sudden, she's in defense. And
we were getting scrambled at a certain of the game.
I made this comment when we played Orlando, which was, Marta was everywhere. She was dropping back at defense and making plays in defense. She was basically like, there was something lacking with Orlando to the point where Marta had to go all the way back and essentially kick the ball up for herself to pass it to herself so that she can make a play. That's how bad it was, where really it was Marta and a couple of other women on the field. Like, I felt Emsley was doing that same thing where, what is your position? I don't know. And it's frustrating me because although sometimes we've seen that kind of moving, playing foursquare work, it just wasn't. And it's stopped doing that.
And there's a difference when you're like, everybody's on 11, right? The dials are turned up to 11. Everybody's on offense. Everybody's on defense. You're covering. And it's working because that's how it's supposed to work. That's how it's drawn up. And there's a difference between that and when you're scrambling and you're just trying to make something happen. Whether that's you get the ball back, you stop the ball from moving, whatever that is. And it's energy level is the same, but it's so different because it's one is like controlled chaos. The other is frantic and stressed, and you felt it. The whole stadium, it was a different vibe in the stadium. It was very quiet.
It was also, I will give that to, one of my coworkers was telling me he felt that it was like a very quiet, subdued kind of stadium. And I'm like, that I don't think that was because of Paige, and I don't think that was because of the dash. It was mainly because it was Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day.
I think it was Mother's Day. And then for those of us who were there normally, it was just like, what's happening? There was a lot of that, like,
There was a lot of we see that things aren't working right now. We
Yeah.
see that it's not gelling and it's not looking good. But that on top of the fact that it was Mother's Day and a lot of people were selling their tickets, a lot of people
Yeah,
didn't
there was a
end up
lot of
going.
like new folks and
A lot of new folk. There was a lot of empty
moms who
space.
had their
So it was
I
what
will
it was.
we for a Mother's Day game we had a great turnout. We had almost
Yeah, it was a great.
19,000 people. My best friend called me earlier today and was like, because he lives out in San Diego, he's like, yeah, I drove by Snappy on Sunday and there was not that many people there, and I was like,
I don't think we hit 19,000. I think that was if that was the reported number.
It was 18.4.
Yeah, I don't think that was the final number. It feels like that was like the sold number.
I don't know. It was sold, packed up in my section.
There was a lot of gaps in my section.
Oh.
Yeah. And there was a lot of gaps I can see across the way. So it was patchy. It's like my beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I just really hope that the girls aren't too deflated and that we come out this weekend. I don't want to say brand new, we're a brand new team, whatever, but like, I just want them to believe in the fact that they've still got it, because they do. I just hope this is the last time that kind of game happens this season.
So
I'm just trying to stay hopeful, and it's just hard.
As my last point, I was going to say, okay, honestly, like I said at the beginning, the goal was a fluke. It was one of those types of goals that it's going to happen. I was watching the replay. It looked like Clarisse didn't know what was going on. Like, she was on Paige, and then all of a sudden she was nowhere to be found. Paige rockets off and Clarisse is standing there doing nothing. And that can totally be the fact that like I'm watching this replay in isolation or that it's in slow-mo or whatever, but she got burnt. But like I said, it was just it was a one touch, it went in, it was a rocket. There was no way that that DiDi was going to get onto that. Beyond it deflecting off of someone, that thing was going in.
Yeah. I think too, I don't think she had a good look at the ball either to defend against it in the goal.
Oh yeah.
There were too many people in front of her.
Yeah. Totally not on DiDi at all, because like she did not see that ball. She didn't see Paige where she was. Like there was too many people, too much traffic. The part and the last thing I want to say about this before we move on is it was so deflating and so sad that I was literally, it was the last 30 seconds, I think, of the clock of stoppage where like everything was about to, if we cleared that ball from that corner, like the game would have been over. And I was texting you, this tie definitely feels like a loss. And as soon as I hit send, she scores. And I was like, God damn. So, Paige.
I was, the fans in the room, I was at Fenway Park, Yankees Red Sox weekend, for my 28th or 29th birthday. How old am I? That was, it was longer than that. I don't know. A few years ago.
The math that was going on in Angela's head right now.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know when that was. I was at Fenway Park, Yankees Red Sox weekend, for my birthday. Like, I was there on my birthday. Red Sox were winning. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to see the Red Sox beat the Yankees in Fenway. Oh, yeah. Top of the ninth. The Yankees bring in A-Rod to pinch hit. He was not supposed to pinch hit. This is like his last season, or like the season before he retired, something like that. He got up, man on base, hits his 660th home run to break the record of whatever home runs at the time it was. But like for his career, over the Green Monster. And the way the crowd reacted was exactly how BMO reacted. There's such a reverence for the sport and the skill and the fact that there was a record broken. Granted, Paige didn't break any records, but she broke our hearts.
That was her 100th match.
Oh, that's right.
So that was Paige's 100. That was her 100th game.
Cap. Yeah. So crowd that night at Fenway, granted, Red Sox Yankees, huge rivalry. People are booing while clapping in
cheering.
spite. Because it was like, dang it, like that was monumental, but and that's exactly what it felt like on Sunday. Because it was like, I can't believe we just let up a goal. We could have walked out of here with 1 point. And then it was like, I guess because it's Paige. Yeah. That's what I have to say on it. I'm a homer. And we talked about this before we started recording. I love this team. But in the way that I love my family and I love my friends, I'm going to call you out when I don't understand what's going on or why you're acting the way you're acting or something like that. Guys, what is happening? Hello? The call is coming from inside the house. Please help. And I just want the best for my team. And I want my team to win. And I just... Okay, that's enough of our thoughts and feelings, because I could just ask a lot of questions for the next hour. But let's get into what everybody else thought. All right. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yes, let's get into what everybody else thought. I didn't write the prompt here, but it was something to the fact of, I hope everyone had a happy Mother's Day. But if you need to vent, we're here. And some people did.
People did.
Yes. So, yeah, go ahead. Take it away.
Zach said, we purple heart you, Paige. But did you have to take revenge on Mother's Day? With a laugh cry emoji, a soccer ball, and then Volemos. Like, just, okay, we go again. Alejandra sent a sad crying emoji. Said, what was that non-marking scheme in the final corner? Which is what caused Paige to be open for that goal. Same, I don't know. Myrna said, heartbreaking, exclamation point. I guess Paige was saying a big F you to those who decided to trade her. Why did we spend 75 minutes hanging out on defense? Just kicking the ball back and forth to DiDi? Yeah, like we said, we don't know. Seth sent a broken heart. T. Gomez sent an eye-rolly emoji and said, what plays did we even have? Said, we got to see another Paige Nielsen goal with heart eye emojis. It just happened to be for the other team with a tear, like a crying emoji. Ethan said, hello, darkness, my old friend. Which, honestly... Oh, T. Gomez is Tanya. My bad. Mario just updated it.
Sorry.
And then Dustin, my coffee fix homie, said, at least my mom and mother-in-law had a great time at their first game. Otherwise, that was rough. Yeah, my mom had a great day. That's good. And then Alma said, every time these quote-unquote fans cheer for an opposing player, they end up scoring on us. Makes us look like clowns. And it was a clown emoji, which I agree with, but I also understand having favorite players, even though you have a favorite team. I talk about basketball a lot. I love watching basketball. I don't necessarily have a favorite team. I have favorite players because I've watched it. Like, I've watched this generation of players since I was younger than them. So it's, yeah, I get it. I cheer for people in the wrong place because I'm like, oh yeah. But it's hard because there's also a different, like, school of thought in women's sports fandom. And a lot of people much about the player
and not the teams.
Yeah, and that's what is difficult.
Yeah, a lot of fans, especially like a lot of like old school women's soccer fans, were there before the team was there, right? So you couldn't be a fan of the team. So you were a fan of other teams or you were a fan of other players. Yeah.
And watching players bounce from team to team, league to league in other countries, you follow your players. And I think that's what gets lost when... And not to say this is what Alma's thought process was. Like, I just mean this more in general. But that gets lost as a sports... The attention on a sport grows. And there's more fans. There's new fans. There's all this. It gets lost that there's some of us who've been around here for 30 years. There's some of us who've been watching these games in, like, illegal streams and torrents and, like, crappy YouTube streams. And somebody literally streamed a preseason WNBA game on Twitter last week that got more viewers than the game that they were streaming on WNBA League Pass, because that wasn't the game anybody wanted to watch. It was a whole thing. It's a lot, but it's the way fandom, the way that the demographic of fans is changing. The leagues aren't keeping up. And that's part of why people are following fans and following players more so than teams, because you just go to the source versus the establishment.
Yeah.
Okay. Off my soapbox.
Yeah. No, but I agree 100% with Alma. It's one of those things, like, and I've seen this comment be made elsewhere, like on Reddit or on Discord or whatever other forum you want to talk about. There's always been some type of comment towards the sentiment of, and even the players have mentioned, yes, BMO is a very loud place.
Yeah.
It's not intimidating.
And we've talked too.
It's intimidating the first time when you're like, holy mother, like that 22,000 people, what? And you're used to playing to 8,000, 5,000 or whatever. That's increasing every year now, which is great. But then after the wow factor of the first time, it's a party, it's cool, like they're fine. So then you're just like, okay, no, be scared of me.
And I think the only time that really changes at BMO is when we have a lead. Like that Portland game, I would have just been like, nah, send me home. Like, we just kept getting louder and louder. And it was just like, the roof is blown off this place and we're still scoring. Where's that team? I miss them. I want them to be injected with like confidence juice again. Of just like, oh, we've got this. We're in a difficult spot right now, but we've got this.
We've seen it work. We've seen it work. I know we've gone back to last year. We had an amazing, yes, we saw it last year, and last year was amazing. We've seen it work this year too. Yeah. In short sprints. And what we need to do is figure out like what it is that we need to sustain that amazingness. Yeah. Yeah. With that, we lost. We have our feelings and we're at our standings now. So currently we're in a similar place that we've always found ourselves. We're just outside looking in. We're in 9th place now, still with 10 points. We still have a game in hand on a lot of the other teams above us. Yeah. But at 10 points, that game in hand is pretty soon not going to be worth anything.
We have to start scoring.
Yeah. We have a -3 goal differential. We have right now with that game in hand, it would still net us about four places, but that's if everything stays the same. Like yeah. Lots of frustration, guys. Okay, so we moved down to 9th, and Houston moved up to 10th, so they're right behind us.
The one thing that is in our favor right now is goal differential between us and them. We're -8.
Yeah, and then I'm going to say it because I wrote it. They dashed up 3 spots, and we fell 3.
They dashed up. Our dad, so I guess it's only right that you drag me through that.
But if you want to see the cool spaghettification of the NWSL standings, go check out Allison Gale at agale137 and look at the cool stuff that she has on Twitter. Amazing infographic content like we've always mentioned. And yeah, it's a pretty cool way to visualize the season so far. So with that, let's get on to some more optimistic things. We've gathered our thoughts. The team has said, what the hell was that? Let's get back on our game. They're going to be flying out to Washington, D.C. So let's preview the match against the Washington Spirit.
Definitely. The one thing I have to say is we just need to be more offensively minded as a whole. The team agrees. They're even like, we don't know what that was. And that's the part that makes me believe that we're going to come out on a tear over the next few weeks, which I'm fine with. I don't know about you, but I am more than happy for that.
Be mad. Get mad. Big mad. We want to see that.
Definitely. But aside from that, the Spirit. They are currently in third place with 18 points. They have 6 wins under their belt, which is bonkers. Yeah, they're an exceptionally good team, but that's to be expected. They've won the Shield. Paige won the Shield with them. Okay, I'm not talking about, I can't talk about Paige anymore. I'm just going to be sad. I'm also just grateful with the connections that we've made with the Nielsen family. They are good people, and I'm just happy about them being in a good situation. Okay, so the Spirit. The players I'm going to talk about, the stories are just cool. They write themselves. It's just good. I'm going to start with their backup goalkeeper, which everybody who listens to me like, Angela, what the heck? But this is important because defense, but also this is part of the lore. This is the part of the stuff that we don't get to hear as women's sports fans. And Nicole Barnhart is important, like capital letters important. She's number 28. She's their backup keeper. She has played exceptionally at every level she's ever played in. For those who are newer to the NWSL, Nicole is 42. That's it. 42. And she's still a boss. And she still suits up. And she's still a backup keeper. She spent 9 years from 2004 to 2013 on the women's national team and had 54 caps. So that's between Brianna Scurry and Hope Solo. Like, that's that gap that people like forget occurred. And do you even understand what happened during that time? She has 2 Olympic gold medals. She has a bronze and a silver medal from the Women's World Cup. From the bronze was from 2007. The silver was 2011. Excuse me? Just chilling on the Spirits roster. Like, oh yeah, I'm still here. Okay. She spent the majority of her career in Kansas City, like at FC Kansas City. And then when they moved or folded, she went somewhere else and then went to Kansas City Current. And now she's with the Spirit. And it's just, 1, I love the fact that teams still believe in her. 2, I love the fact that I can still play. Of course I can.
Yeah.
And
don't want to hang up the boots just yet.
Yeah, if you still got it, you still got it. And she had to sub in last season unexpectedly when Aubrey Kingsbury went down. I don't remember what game it was, but I remember it happening. And I was with Eva and we were like, oh my God, is this real life? Like, we were so excited because it's like women's soccer royalty. It's like I said, it's the lore. It's the stuff that we don't get to talk about as much because we're just always talking about the current team. We don't get the enjoyment of game replays and highlights from 20 years ago because of course we do. That's not something that's very commonplace in women's sports as a whole. So I just wanted to give her a shout out because I think it's important.
Yeah. Player to know. Might not be the player to watch on the field, but definitely a great player to know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just so dope. It's so cool. I was like, okay, I'm going to pick on this person. I was like, I can talk about them when they play at BMO. I want to talk about Nicole Barnhart tonight. And so there you go. You get a little backstory of soccer history. But then the next person I want to talk about is Trinity Rodman. Number 2, she's a forward. If you don't know who she is, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like one of those. She's still so damn good. So ridiculously good. She's good on both sides of the ball. She's intimidating because she has a swag that not all players have. And honestly, whether or not she has a good relationship with her dad, I don't know. I don't care. That's their business, not mine. But that level of, I'm here, I know I'm good, I'm going to show up, has to be genetic. Yeah.
There's something special out there. And honestly, there's a reason why she is one of the highest paid people in the NWSL. For a while, she was the highest paid person in the NWSL. So it's one of those where, like, money well worth it, you know?
Exactly. She's also the TikTok queen of the national team. And kind of sort of the Spirit. She's just great. She's hysterical off the pitch. honestly, she's really funny on the pitch too because her facial reactions are fantastic. In the same vein of Sophia Smith's shrug, it's just fantastic. I feel like she's always ready to throw down, but she's, oh, don't make me do that. Don't do that. I will, but don't. Which I get because I'm the same way. Don't push me too far. But Trinity is just so good. I love that I get to watch her play. I hate that she has to play against my team. It's that level of good. And whether she's matched up with Maddie Curry, Jasmine Spencer, MA, whoever, like Sarah, she's just tactically amazing. And I'm curious to see how we match up against her. Just to kind of, for my own brain, I just want to know what is going to happen. But I love watching good players play good soccer. I like watching people do what they do the best at a very high level. So I always like watching her play. I just hope we pull out the win. And then last but not least, Croix Bethune. I'm calling it right now, Rookie of the Year. She has beyond outstanding. First of all, at the draft, best dressed. I will never be that cool. I will never be that fashionable. She got drafted, and Eva and I and like our other friends that were there were just like, oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, easily best dressed, easily just the coolest person I've ever seen. But I have a feeling she will be in the running for Rookie of the Year, and if she continues the way she's going, absolutely will win it. She's technically a midfielder, has been a very offensively minded midfielder. Get ready for that. But no, I truly believe Croix is going to just run the table goal scoring this season. She has 9 caps, so she's appeared in every game so far. She already has 4 goals. She's a rookie, and she's in the running for freaking Golden Boot.
Jeez.
What?
As a rookie?
Like, okay. Yeah, she honestly is the pick of the draft, I think. I think Madison Curry is on the defensive side, at least from what I've seen so far. I also have to go back and double check what other drafts were like rostered and kept on who was waived. Yeah. Which, by the way, newsflash, today a South Florida USL team signed Felicia Knox. So one of our highest
picks.
Pick. Yeah, she's going to Florida, which is great. I'm happy for her.
Our number 1 pick. But she goes to USL, so we get no money.
But good for her. I hope she has a great season. I hope she stays healthy, all that good stuff. But Croix is different. She's ridiculously good. She's flashy, but she's not. Okay, there's flashy players who show off their skills and then do too much when it gets sloppy. And then there's flashy players who keep it under control and will just be like, do and score or have this crazy move, but still continue to play. They just get themselves free of the situation. She's just, man, she's so fun to watch. So,
she was pick number 3 in the first round. So,
yeah, that tells you enough.
Yeah.
All right. So she's number 7. Keep an eye out for her. That's the spirit.
Yes.
That's the spirit.
Croix is number 7, and then Trinity Rodman number 2 as a forward. So you'll see them out there, and you got a nice little history lesson with Nicole. So
yeah, awesome. She'll be on the sidelines most likely. I hope Aubrey doesn't get hurt. That would be a bummer. But if we get to see her play, know that I will be so pumped for her. All right, and now for Angel City. I first want to give a quick shout out to DiDi because yes, there was a goal scored, but she was so solid in the box when it got crowded. There were a few shots on goal, shots in general that she was able to either deflect, catch, whatever. But she had a fantastic game defending the goal on Sunday. I just want to say that. And also, if you didn't watch it on Ion on Saturday, They did a special, like a little snippet, the way they did for Megan Reed on DiDi and her mom and their family for Mother's Day. Because like I said, DiDi is Bosnian. And I knew they evacuated during the war. What I didn't realize is that she said the war started on the 6th of April, like within 2 days of the riots here in LA, which is bonkers that it overlapping. DiDi's mom was 9 months pregnant. She went into labor like 4 or 5 days later, had DiDi in half an hour, which is insane. First of all, had her, she said, I was in labor for 30 minutes. And I looked at Eva and she goes, that's not normal, right? I said, no. Had her. And then they ended up leaving either that night or the next morning. And then later that same day, the hospital was bombed. And they not left. There's no DiDi. There's no Haračić. Anybody. It's just freaking insane. They were able to immigrate to the States because DiDi's dad was a bobsledder and had connections here. But she didn't have papers, nothing, because they just dipped. Her mom knew we had to get out, and that's exactly what they did. And the resilience that shows. We're seeing that across many countries right now of people having to do the same thing. But that's not for this podcast. I will get incredibly emotional. Anyway, that's it. DiDi is dope. Do I wish she had a little bit better distribution? Sure. But you know,
she's a solid presence for us in the back, and that's that's half of what counts. And
honestly,
it's yeah.
And we find workarounds, so that's what you do. But I really want to talk about Clarisse Bihan, because we were like jokingly wondering if we should make a shirt with her on a milk carton, and we didn't know what was going on. We don't know what happened. Everybody was like, where's Clarisse? Where's Clarisse? Where's Clarisse? Because her impact on the second half of the season last year was so great. She moved more from a traditional midfielder into more of an attacking mid, where she's scoring and moving the ball and playmaking. And it helped the team launch into the offseason, truly. And that happened around the coaching change. There was a lot of changes she made last season that really helped her and the team. But it makes sense because she won a U19 championship with the French national team in 2013. She's been on the senior team, so what we consider like the national team here in the States, from 2015 to 2017. And that was when she was like 22. It was wild. She's just crafty and she knows how to move the ball. She works to push the ball forward. She's quick with her feet. She's very smart on the pitch. Like, she's so good. Her IQ is through the roof when it comes. Like, you can see her galaxy braining on the pitch with the ball at her feet, and it's no big deal. Like, okay, I moved here, this person's there, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm so happy we got to see her play for such a long time. And I don't know if it was just maybe she had been a little injured, but not injured enough to put her on the questionable list, or I don't know what was going on, but I'm glad we're seeing her, and I hope we see a lot more of her. I think she's going to be a big spark for our offense. So fingers crossed. Fingers, toes, eyes, legs, everything. Please. That's Angel City. Like I said, I run out of 3-person recaps, so we get 1.5.
Yeah. Just let you guys know, on our notes it says 1, 2, 3 players, and we're going on the low end on that one, but that's completely fine. So Clarisse, number 29, midfielder. Glad to have her back. And sometimes we have lapses. Sometimes maybe she forgot Paige was not on our team anymore, and she was just like, hey, yeah, you go get the ball. I don't know. I'm still not gonna leave that alone. That was like a very that was a big lapse in judgment on that one. But it is what it is. History between the two teams. We've played them 4 times, 2 wins, 2 losses. So we're dead even. And hopefully we get 3 wins this weekend.
Absolutely.
So again, reminder of where to watch and listen. So our next match will be May 18th, Saturday. We're going to be in Washington playing the Washington Spirit at Audi Field in Washington, D.C. The match will be at 4:30 p.m. in Pacific time, and it will be on ionTV. So check your TV listings. It should be over the air. If you're going to try to stream it, as long as you have a TV package somewhere, you should be able to stream it. Or listen to it on the radio, because I am one of those small groups of I don't have ionTV to stream because I don't have a TV package anywhere. So check out iHeart Radio and listen to Isaac and Tracy, and they will give you the play-by-play. It'll feel like you're there. It'll be amazing. And the official watch party will be at High Tops in Los Feliz. It's going to be the Speed Friending watch party hosted by ACFC. The Speed Friending party starts at 3:30. Kickoff, like we mentioned, will be at 4:30, and that's the Los Feliz location on Vermont Avenue. So if you made it this far, you like what you hear. We went on a little rant this time. It
just
is
a small one.
Just a small one. It is totally possible to hold being proud of your team and wanting your team to do good and being excited for the next matchup, while also saying what the F just happened. Welcome
to sports.
Yes, every game and every day is a different day. Mm-hmm. They can both be true. And this is one of those occasions. So, but if you made it this far, you probably like what we're doing. Hit subscribe wherever you're listening to. If you don't have a subscribe button to hit, go check out casualfc.com for all the pod links and find your favorite place to go watch it. And you know what? Maybe leave us a little note while you're there. Best ways to support are to leave us some comments or ratings on any one of the social platforms or any one of the podcasting platforms that you're listening to. You can also support us that's the free way to do it. You can always support us by grabbing some merch at shop.casualfc.com, which we will be releasing something this week. It will be out this week. It might be out at the same time as this episode.
Actively working on it. We're not lying about this.
There's at least one item coming out this week. So yes, check out our merch at shop.casualfc.com. Lots of fun, silly ideas coming throughout the season. And yeah, just grab something if you like it. And if you feel so inclined, help support the pod by buying us a coffee. It's basically a way to throw us a couple bucks and say, hey, doing a good job. And we appreciate every single dollar and cent that comes our way. So check out the link on all our socials or go to buymeacoffee.com/casualfcpod. And honestly, any way you support us, from just commenting or sharing a post to buying something, makes us ecstatic, and we are always forever grateful for everybody that's listening. Follow us on our socials. Follow us. Rewind. Follow us on all our socials at Casual FC Pod on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. And tell a friend about the pod. It brings us good luck. So if you go to the watch party, tell people about it, and we'll get a bunch of good luck. And we'll just directly send it to Washington, D.C. So that's our episode for today. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out.
Thanks for sticking around.
And we'll see you next time back at BMO. Bye.
Woo. Bye. Welcome to Casual FC, an Angel City preview pod. I'm your host, Angela Morales, with the great and wonderful wizard of this podcast, Mario Sanchez.
Mario who?
What did I say?
I'm going to leave that in.
No. Who is Mario Sanchez? In what world is that? What just happened in my brain? I said that and I was like, that's weird.
You're like, something didn't sound right.
Oh my God. Rewind. Cut.